The judge will never tell you this. Every juror in America has the constitutional power to vote not guilty for any reason, even if the defendant clearly broke the law. Prosecutors are terrified you will discover this. Here is the secret they have buried for 200 years. Imagine sitting in a jury box. The evidence is overwhelming. The defendant clearly committed the crime. But something feels wrong. The law itself seems unjust. What if you could simply say not guilty and walk away? Here is what the legal system does not want you to know. You can. It is called jury nullification, and it is completely legal. No judge can punish you. No prosecutor can touch you. Your verdict is final. But why has this power been hidden from generations of Americans? The answer reveals a battle for control that has raged since this nation's founding. And by the end of this video, you will understand exactly why they keep this from you. The year is 1841. A black man named Madison Washington leads a revolt aboard the slave ship Creole. 134 enslaved people seize the vessel and sail to freedom in the Bahamas. When the ship's white officers are put on trial in New Orleans, the evidence of mutiny is undeniable. But the jury refuses to convict. They look at the law demanding these men be punished. They look at the human beings who fought for freedom. And they choose conscience over statute. This was not a legal loophole. This was jury nullification in action. The Founding Fathers designed it this way. If you have ever wondered whether 12 ordinary citizens can stand against an unjust system, history already answered that question. But here is where it gets disturbing. Courts today actively work to prevent you from knowing this. During jury selection, prosecutors ask screening questions specifically designed to eliminate anyone who understands nullification. They call these people unfit for service. Think about that. Knowing your constitutional rights makes you unfit to serve on a jury. It gets worse. In some states, handing out pamphlets about jury nullification near a courthouse can get you arrested. Not for lying. For telling the truth. Judges routinely instruct jurors that they must follow the law as given. But that instruction itself is misleading. Because the Supreme Court has confirmed that a jury's not guilty verdict cannot be overturned for any reason. The contradiction is intentional. Let me put this in perspective. Every single day in America, people sit in jury boxes completely unaware of the power they hold. They believe their only job is to determine facts. Guilty or not guilty based purely on evidence. But the founders had something far more radical in mind. John Adams wrote that the juror has a right to find the verdict according to his own best understanding, judgment, and conscience. Thomas Jefferson called trial by jury the only anchor by which a government can be held to the principles of its constitution. These were not accidents of language. The jury was designed as the final check against government overreach. The last line of defense when laws become tools of oppression rather than justice. And somehow, this fundamental principle got buried. But that is not even the most shocking part. The legal establishment knows exactly what it is doing, and there is proof. In 1972, the D.C. Circuit Court ruled in United States v. Doherty that while juries have the power to nullify, they should not be told about it. Read that again. A federal court openly admitted that keeping jurors ignorant is deliberate policy. The judges wrote that informing juries of their nullification power would risk anarchy. They feared what would happen if citizens understood they could reject laws they found unjust. This is not conspiracy. This is documented court record. The people who run the justice system decided that you are too dangerous to be trusted with the truth about your own constitutional authority. And this leads to a question nobody in power wants you to ask. If jury nullification is so dangerous, why does it keep happening? In 2012, a New Hampshire jury acquitted a man named Doug Darrell of marijuana cultivation charges despite overwhelming evidence and the defendant's own admission of guilt. The jury believed the law was wrong. In 2016, the Bundy militia members were acquitted of federal charges after armed standoffs with government agents. Jurors later revealed they rejected the prosecution's overreach. These are not isolated incidents. They are cracks in a system that depends on juror ignorance. Every time citizens learn the truth, the carefully constructed illusion of total judicial control begins to crumble. And prosecutors know it. So here is the truth they have worked 2 centuries to hide. As a juror, you cannot be punished for your verdict. Period. A judge cannot jail you for voting not guilty. A prosecutor cannot fine you. There is no appeal for acquittal. Once you say those 2 words, it is over. This protection exists because the founders understood something crucial. Laws are made by politicians, enforced by police, and interpreted by judges. But the final word belongs to the people. 12 ordinary citizens standing between the full power of the state and a single human being. That is what jury of your peers actually means. Not passive observers following orders. Active participants with the power to say this far, and no further. This is your birthright as an American citizen. Now you know what judges hope you never discover. The question is what you will do with this knowledge. Jury nullification is not about letting guilty people walk free. It is about recognizing that justice and law are not always the same thing. It is the emergency brake on a system that can go terribly wrong. Some argue this power is dangerous. That allowing jurors to ignore laws creates chaos. But consider the alternative. A system where citizens must enforce every law without question, no matter how unjust. History shows where that leads. The founders trusted ordinary people with extraordinary power. The courts have spent generations trying to take it back. Now the choice is yours. When you sit in that jury box, you carry the weight of 250 years of constitutional promise. Now you know the secret prosecutors fear. Subscribe for more courtroom truths they do not want exposed. I want to hear from you. If you sat on a jury and believed the law was unjust, would you follow your conscience or the judge's instructions? Tell me in the comments. Your answer might surprise you.